Okay, we will call to order the Tuesday, January 11th Committee of the Whole meeting. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Keen,
Yes.
Flock,
Here.
Malakote,
Here.
Gustafson, here, Dunn,
Here.
Eddie.
Here,
Item 3, approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 21st, 2021 committee meeting?
Second.
Motion by trustee Clark, second by trustee Malakote. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Malakote,
Yes.
Eddie,
yes,
Flock,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Gustafson,
yes,
Keen.
Yes.
Motion approves, passes 6-0. Public comment. Is there anyone present in person or online that would like to participate in public comment this evening? I don't think we have any of the public on virtually. And Gene, you're our public. Oh, good. We'll go into new business. Item 5.1, discussion and recommendation to the board for approval of modifications to the Village of Roscoe COVID-19 pandemic emergency staffing plan. You all have you have 2 copies of the proposed revisions in your packet. One of them shows the red lines. One is a clean copy. I will point out one comment I received since posting these from trustee Keen was a suggestion to change the word on the cover page from updated to revised. I have no issue whatsoever with doing that, and we'll do that when I bring it forward to the board. I'm going to go through these quickly. Page 2 of 5. There's a correction to update the phase of the restored Illinois plan from phase 4 to phase 5, restored. There's a correction to address the occupancy of Porter Park Cabin. There are no longer restrictions on its occupancy. It can be rented at its full capacity of 60 guests.
oh, that's what that means.
Page 3 of 5, at the top there, we simply have struck the until such time qualifier for remote attendance of meetings and just maintain that as an option for people to participate in the meetings remotely. Now we get the guts of the changes on the emergency sick leave policy. This is where things have changed. So up in the top paragraph, all of that back and forth with crossing comes out is simply to clean up the way we've described or defined leave time for a quarantine. In the past, we had done it by hour, and it was just too confusing. Now, mind you, over the life of this policy, quarantine and isolation periods went from 14 days to 10 days, now down to 5 days. So it is of our staff's opinion that it's cleaner to just say employees are eligible or will take time as needed to comply with established self-isolation or quarantine periods of 5 consecutive calendar days. It all starts at your date of exposure or your date of a positive test. That could be 3 work days and it could span a weekend, just 5 calendar days. No more reference to hours. No more distinguishing between FOP and non-FOP. The next paragraph is establishing that the Village of Roscoe will enforce the quarantine requirement for an employee who has had a household member test positive for COVID, or if they've had a close contact as defined by the CDC. And that is cumulative total of 15 minutes exposure to someone positive within a 24-hour period. So the CDC literally breaks it up and saying if you were within 6 feet of a positive person for 3 instances of 5 minutes each, that is 15 total minutes of exposure, and that defines close contact. What we are saying is that if you've had close contact or someone in your house has COVID, quarantine for 5 days. I will point out that is the one spot where our policy has now diverged from CDC guidelines. CDC guidelines specify that if you have household member or a close contact, they require a quarantine if you are not vaccinated. CDC does not require that quarantine period if you are vaccinated. I will tell you that it's our recommendation that we enforce the quarantine no matter what. When I say our, this has been our village attorney, our village HR director, and myself. We don't want, this is based upon an awareness of the number of breakthrough cases of vaccinated people, especially with the Omicron. And it is in someone's house, especially since they reduced the quarantine to 5 days. We don't want to make it. Moving down below is just establish policy following the CDC guidelines for a quarantine. It's quarantining for 5 consecutive calendar days. It's getting evidence of a negative test at the end of that. And then it's wearing a well-fitting mask for the next 5 days at all times when you're around people, regardless of vaccination status. The last paragraph indicates that these quarantines will still be eligible for the established emergency sick leave. Other than that, all there are some deletions. I don't think there's any other changes to. We eliminated we eliminated staggered shifts as a public works and parks department precaution. In the summer they do it anyway. In the winter they don't. It's just not something we're doing anymore. We're just taking it out of policy.
I just have one change. On page 405, the paragraph below, I have been wrong about almost everything today, so I'm probably wrong about this, but that first sentence in black.
When you read what's the
If an employee is feeling sick or develops a fever while at work, there, isn't it THEIR?
Without question. Yes. Trustee Penn, you know how many eyes have been on this for the past year and a half, and no one's ever caught that?
But I've been wrong
It's
about
there.
so many
You're-
things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good job. Good job, you guys, on finalizing that.
Scott, I have a couple of questions and suggestions to see how they fly. First, I think it behooves us to try to offer as many incentives to get inoculated or vaccinated as we possibly can. Can we designate that this paid 5 days will be for vaccinated and boosted individuals? Those who are fully within their rights to not be vaccinated or boosted should use their own sick days. That's one suggestion. Secondly, can we include language in this that, because we know that this is changing all of the time, that this agreement be reviewed again, no later than June 30th. It may not be necessary to have 5 paid days for COVID exposure by then, who knows? But at least we have some language there that tells us we are going to review this periodically and either extend it or revise it as needed. And then last, on page 3, in that section about wearing a well-fitted mask, no problem with that, but I would just suggest you eliminate the 2 words "at home," since it's not enforceable by us. We would like to encourage people to do that, but we cannot enforce it.
That is literally, you know what? I took that directly from the CDC language on the protocols. That's the only reason it's in
And
there.
it's on the protocols because if they're at home during that time, they're supposed to.
Yeah, but for us to say you're going to do it, I mean, it's
This is word
the
for word, right?
CDC has been all over the place with this as everything has changed. So, not exactly do we have to be in lockstep with them every minute. But let's go back to the first and the elephant in the room. Can we designate between those who are vaccinated and those who are not? That those who are vaccinated get these 5 days, those who are not it's charged against their sick days. They are putting other people at risk. It's their choice to not protect themselves. So it's their choice to suffer the consequences and utilize their own sick days or vacation days when they have to be out.
I don't agree with that. Tony Keene, I don't agree with that because people are asymptomatic. People have breakthrough COVID. So now you're creating possibly some foundation for legal action. Because if I'm fully vaccinated and I'm fully vaccinated, I have my booster and I contract the Omicron and have to be isolated for 5 days, I'm gonna take my vacation time for that.
No, I didn't say that. You're vaccinated, you get the 5 days. You choose not to be vaccinated. It's your choice. And because you choose to put yourself at risk here of getting sick, then you have sick days that you will use. We'll charge it against the however many sick days you get.
Hey, Carol, it's Ann. I would normally be in agreement with that thought. However, I think we're going to start finding that people who are unvaccinated are going to come in with symptoms because they aren't going to want to use their sick time.
Then they can be terminated for putting people at risk and not following policy.
But how do we, I mean, I don't,
Well, they're showing
I'd really like
symptoms.
to not have a debate in regards to this, okay? It's an individual choice to get vaccinated. or not
Sure it
get
is.
vaccinated, okay, and I think we need to treat everyone the same, okay? And if in fact someone does test positive because they weren't vaccinated or whatever, they need to be given the exact same time off that we give someone who is. That keeps us out of the legal portion of this, of discrimination or anything else. And I just strongly feel that that's the proper thing to do.
I ask a question? Do we require proof of showing that they actually have COVID?
No, you're not.
That would be the only thing I would suggest to add, so that we don't have somebody come in with the flu and claim COVID. Pretty sure we can do it. Do it for my children, for their school district, so.
Proof of COVID, both if they, for either cases that say I have it, or if they say I've never had it, I've been exposed to it.
Proof of positive.
Within their household.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we discussed that too. I mean, we can, I think when we talked about it, I think we actually talked about having that in there, and I don't think we've had any issues so far with that.
Right,
But we certainly put it in the policy, sure.
yeah.
I submitted mine just to be
Yeah,
safe, just so there was a record that I have all these positive tests in my.
yeah. I think we've had, all the different departments have had some COVID cases over the last year. I don't think we've really had issues with that, but yeah, we can certainly put it in there.
It's just
We
a
can
kind of
require it anyway, but.
Help secure
still
things,
valid.
so somebody doesn't come in with a headache and the next day they
Yeah.
don't.
You know, what's unique about this day has been and remains unique is that this is a case where we are dictating, we're telling an employee by policy they have to stay home. And we might be telling an employee they have to stay home, even if they're not sick at all. We might be telling an employee they have to stay home if they are technically sick, but not showing any symptoms at all. And that employee might otherwise say, well, I'm fine, you know, you're telling me I have to stay home, I want to come in and work.
Yeah.
It's just unique. I'm pointing out it's unique, and I don't know that we're right.
It's just a positive test.
So we don't want to encourage anyone. We want to protect our workforce, so we don't want, we have seen business, we have a business right next to us here who was brought down by 200 positive cases in their workforce because people came in with it.
Right.
We want to keep them out of the building. We want to keep them away from other officers, from other public works employees. And we want to we don't want to create the temptation for someone to avoid it because they don't want to burn a sick time.
That's correct. You can treat everybody the same, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think having proof every positive case would be it would, you know,
I think that's fine.
kind of tighten it down a little more.
I have no problem.
If our attorney doesn't tell us
They
that's illegal, then we should do
they
it.
have a
I
positive
mean,
COVID test.
Our handbook right now says we can do that.
In order to get paid for those 5 days,
Yep.
you need proof.
And so we can just add it to the policy. so
Nothing
people
wrong with
know
that, 'cause that's
if they have to.
Are we paying for all of these tests?
No,
state of Illinois.
all the tests are free.
Free.
What is the,
You go to Walgreens, you go to CVS, you can go to U of I.
I paid $10 for
Did you run?
U of I is
I didn't.
very fast. and
Very fast. I went to
fast.
U of I yesterday.
Yep.
And I have my results today.
Cheap too.
Have testing over there.
it. Was over
Biden,
here.
Biden had made a statement the other day that insurance companies were going to pick up the tab for these tests beginning day, whatever, next month, first
For
of the
the
year.
at-home
Go to
test.
the antigen. that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, health insurance companies will begin paying for the at-home tests. I believe it might be as early as this weekend or early next.
Yeah, 15. Yeah,
Right.
Can you find one?
if you can buy one.
If you can
Oh,
find
you
one.
can't find them. but They'll pay for them if you can.
Can't find them.
I guess I have another question. Should we require them to have some sort of PCR test? Because the rapid test has not been very.
We talked about that, and right now we said no. Almost any reference that I look at, it was establishing a test to come back with something testing as well. I think you can CDC acknowledges. That's how, so I don't know, we'll just follow suit.
And in the unusual circumstance that someone here says that they have a breakthrough infection and they take their 5 days and they are seen fishing somewhere, what do we do then?
Well, I guess we'll deal with it when that
We
happens.
would do nothing.
They have COVID.
That they're isolated.
Oh, it's a breakthrough case. I see. They're positive.
We'll deal with that.
They have- They have a breakthrough case and we have paid them, as we should, with the belief that they would stay home and not spread their germs. But then this individual goes out and does something that he's not supposed to. I hear you say, it doesn't matter.
Really, we treat everything else, be it the case by case basis.
Their name's he.
If they're not quarantined by order, I mean, they're not, they're, they can go out.
Yeah.
It'd be the same as any other case.
My concern is keeping them out of the building.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, we had this discussion, Scott and I had this discussion about all these issues everybody's bringing up. I mean, 100% agree, but as people that are here with employees on a day-to-day basis, that's what it was sort of based off of, is trying to keep people who are possibly going to spread COVID through the village out of the building, incentivize that. And we would like to have everybody vaccinated. And that's, I think that was a discussion came up last week about, incentives for vaccination. I still think it's a good idea to do that, but we don't want to disincentivize someone from not staying home. I mean, we want people to stay home if they need to, and if they're going to possibly affect the rest of the village. So,
And the incentive
That's what
would
this
be
was.
that we would pay for their time.
correct, yep, but they would not have to use sick time.
Yeah.
For times, like Scott said, when normally they may not have any sickness at all, and now they may have no disease in them whatsoever, right? They're just exposed to somebody in their household. But we don't want to, have them coming in anyway.
Correct. Because you don't know. The unknown is what gets people. in this example.
And if people are looking at me daily, when we've done health departments, we put them on our website. It is, we're now up over 42% positivity again, and by far the highest 7-day rolling average of cases per 100,000 population. That's the metric they use to evaluate it. We're 1,800 now. Just around Christmas time, we were at like 300.
Okay, question, we can go over to the police department and be tested?
No, we have vaccination clinics here. So we coordinated it and like, I can ask them to do another one.
She's on there.
Yeah, no, we just had the clinic.
Didn't factor in. They ain't
We
doing
can't be
it.
tested.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, there's one in the Highlander Plaza.
they're back
We're-
up right now too.
Yeah. There's one there, there's one in front of
The one that I went and did, there
It's on
was,
North Second.
where Scott's been there numerous times.
Huh?
There was like 125 people in the auditorium.
Yeah, they usually.
It was very quick.
They usually run
I'm
out.
very impressed with how they.
It's really not, that's true, yeah.
You know, it's
Site.
Very professionally done. With what they had.
It's still called the Battle Plaza.
That sounds a lot better.
True.
I will just say one thing, and I know it's running late, but that vet strap-in center that I work volunteer at, this has been a bear to try to get, first of all, homeless veterans to prove that they've been vaccinated. I mean, and then make sure that they keep their masks on. I mean, it is just been a difficult.
Will somebody make a motion to move it to the board, like?
I would make a motion to move it to the board first and final.
With the amendments.
We will add language and require evidence of
Yeah.
a positive.
Possible COVID test.
Second.
Clean up the spelling.
And we'll make sense telling you. We have a motion by trustee Petty, a second by trustee Plot. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Gustafson,
Sure.
Keen,
Yes.
Block,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Petty,
Yes,
Malaco.
Yes.
That's 5-0. Item 5.2, discussion or recommendation to the board for approval of the zoning map amendment from the CG Commercial General to the RM multi-family residential at 5091 Edgemere. So that's our packet with you. Or anything. This is a parcel of the piece of land directly south of the Walgreens at Edgemere and Honolulu. The very quick history of this is that was platted back in like 1983 or something. That lot where the Walgreens is and this subject parcel now, which is only hold on. All right, but anyway, 0.68 acres. It was all one lot. And Al Rinaldi was the property owner and developer. And when Walgreens came in, he basically said, buy as much of that lot as you need. And this has been the remainder for the last 30 years. It's too small for commercial development. It's been for sale for almost 30 years. There's been no traction on it. It is actually adjacent to all of the residential structures moving south are two-family, duplex residential. The proposal is to put two structures on it, a two-family and a three-family. That's why it proposes RM, not R2. As zoning administrator, I know the opinion is an appropriate use. It was presented at zoning board of appeals in December and passed unanimously. So of course, that the process of the map amendment comes from the ZBA to the committee and the board.
Moved.
second,
Motion by trustee Plonk, second by trustee Penny.
Are they gonna put in the buffer?
Yes, and the buffer that you see, I added the design review package. Again, design review does not come to the board, but I showed it to you for reference. We had asked as a condition of approval to do a landscape buffer on the back. ZBA actually added to that and requested that landscape buffer wrap around the north as well. So both the back side, which is the eastern property line, and the north side will have a continuous landscape buffer, evergreen landscape buffer. And that condition moves forward with that. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Dunn,
Yes.
Block,
Yes.
Petty,
yes,
Gustafson,
Scott, I didn't get my question in. He wants to build 1, 2, and 1, 3 family.
That's
On that?
correct.
Why not 2 3s or just 2 2s? Why the differentiation?
It's what fits.
It's
They want to get as
hard
many
me.
units. They want to get as many units as they can. 3 family is the biggest anyone builds anymore, because once you get to a 4 family, it requires sprinkler systems to be installed, and that has proven to be cost prohibitive to 4 families and larger. the parcel is big enough, they could do two, they could not do 2 3-families. They could do a 2-family and 3-family. It's what fits on and satisfies all of our required side yard setbacks.
Will that 3-family look out of place there?
Nope.
Okay.
Did you vote, Carol?
My vote is yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Malaco,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0. 5.3, discussion or recommendation to the board for approval of a resolution to enter into a 5-year lease agreement with Axon Enterprises, Inc. to provide and maintain body cameras, tasers, redaction software, cloud storage, and related miscellaneous equipment for use by the Roscoe Police Department for the quoted annual price of $30,742. It is a 5-year agreement that will result, it will come to $153,710 over the 5-year term.
So moved.
Motion trustee Clark, second trustee Malaco. Any discussion?
What's the word maintain? What does that?
To my understanding is that if there are ever any issues, they replace anything that's broken or doesn't work. And in fact, I believe there's even scheduled replacement within the 5-year life cycle of the agreement.
Like the accessories, what you hold the taser in, what you hold the cameras in, stuff like that.
Batteries and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Training cartridges.
So the broke, you put on the brakes, you get a new one.
Like our officers of 12 SWAT cars.
Any other questions? Here, I want to make sure, I'm not seeing hands on my screen anymore, so I'm going to make sure that I'm not ignoring you if you do.
We're good.
Clerk call the roll.
Malaco,
Yes.
Petty,
Yes.
Keen,
yes,
Dunn,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Flock.
Yes.
Motion approved. These are all 6. I'll say 5-0. Item 5.4, discussion or recommendation of the board for approval of a resolution to enter into an agreement with Fair Grant for professional engineering services to be design, bidding, construction, administration, and materials testing for the reconstruction and paving of the public works parking lot. The quoted price of $32,800.
So moved.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Trustee Petty, trustee Keen. Any discussion or questions?
Just.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Scott, a question. Why is this cost so high? Why is it $32,000 to plan a parking?
that's not high.
Lot to do it.
Because it's not just paving a existing gravel pad. It's essentially a flat lot right now that drains entirely by infiltration. And once we pave it, that won't work anymore. So it's completely regrading the parking lot into individual watersheds with a series of dry wells. So there's a significant amount of engineering design effort to it.
Once we get all of this area nice looking, are we going to do something attractive with vegetation at the entrance to this?
Sure.
I support it.
Well, yeah, we could plan around the new sign.
Maybe next year.
$5,000 sign.
I love it.
Sure. 6,500.
Was it 65?
Yes, we would follow that direction, of course.
If I could. I brought something up to you just before our meetings. If there's a proposed concrete parking area, I just decided to maybe L that off in front of our new salt shed. We're also gonna add.
Yep.
Because won't deteriorate as fast as asphalt.
And isn't there a drainage?
I think there was, but I
Drainage.
don't know if it was going. Yeah, I don't know if it was going
Different
into.
drain system then.
Justin, you were breaking up. I couldn't understand what you were saying.
Mask on.
Yeah, I have my mask on, sorry. There's a proposed concrete parking area in front of kind of where the new addition is, and I don't know, maybe 4 other stalls and in front of the salt shed we currently have. I brought up to Scott to maybe extend that in front of our new salt shed. That is supposed to be built next to our old salt shed, just to help with deterioration. of any runoff we do get from the salt.
And which I responded, absolutely, we will do that. I think that exhibit probably predates the decision to add a salt shed.
Yeah.
We always would have a concrete apron anchoring the structures, but
Got to. Otherwise it fails.
And move the
I'd
trash.
also like you pointed out, finding a new home for the guard for the dumpster. We'll move that dumpster probably over along the west edge of the southwest portion of the parking lot next to the PD storage garage. We don't want it mid parking lot like it is right now.
And with this parking lot looking nice and striped and all of that and larger, what's your guess as to how many handicap stalls are going to be needed here?
1 per 25.
And so,
I haven't seen the striping diagram. I don't know the parking capacity yet, but that'll be the requirement is 1 for 25 stalls.
Quite a few.
but not
Richard.
likely to need them along the entrance to the Public Works building. I mean, you don't have 3 or 4 or 5 people who require that there. But,
That's a design element. We'll
okay,
figure it out. But yeah, I think a lot of them will be located near the entrance to the ball diamonds as well.
okay.
ADA dictates that they're located as proximate as possible to the main entrance of the structure. This parking lot serves both the public works facility and the ball diamonds will distribute the ADA stalls appropriately.
I would say 1 by our.
Clerk, you call the roll?
Dunn,
Yes.
Flock,
Yes.
Hetty,
Yes.
Keen,
Yes,
Gustafson,
Yes,
Malaco.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 6-0. Item 5.5 is discussion and recommendation to the board for approval of a resolution to enter into an agreement with Fair Grant for professional engineering services, design, bidding, and testing for the construction of sidewalks and ADA ramps in Shepherd Hills at the intersection of Montedale and Carapool for the quoted price of $11,800. The bulk of that design effort speaks to the somewhat meticulous requirements for designing the ADA ramps at the intersections, which can be tricky to retrofit into existing streets. Sure.
Moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Fox, second by trustee Malaco. Discussion or questions? Hearing none, clerk, will you call the roll?
Gustafson,
yes,
Hetty,
Yes.
Keen,
yes,
Dunn,
Yes.
Malaco,
Yes.
Flock.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 6-0. Does anyone have any old business?
yes, Scott. In reference to the memo that you put out, one thing that we didn't discuss was what age group we wanted to see regarding usage of the splash pad. And I would just like you to poll board members. What do they envision here? What age group should we direct you to make choices for the various attractions there? Do they group it for the under 5 set, the 5 to 10, the 10 to 12? What are the categories?
Mike Dunn's age.
If you guys have firm feelings on that and want to target a certain age, I guess state that now. Otherwise, I would say that probably a part of the design process. And still trying to figure out the most intelligent way to approach the design of this. But what do people think? I would think,
But,
I think, well,
I would think elementary
Yeah,
and special needs.
always.
So you would say under the age of 9,
5th grade and under.
5th grade?
Yeah, so yeah, it'd be 10, 11 and under.
Of course, we're not going to prohibit you, we're not prohibiting people from coming, but that's just target.
right.
I know that, I can tell you, on the
I think that's what
playgrounds,
we
we
do.
actually have, play components are rated for age of play. I can't even speak intelligently to tell you if spray pad features are rated for age of play. I'll find that out and steer it towards this age, primarily towards this age group. And what I want.
Yeah, anybody can use it. It is,
Yeah.
I think that's who would use it the most probably.
Isn't it just fountains and water shooting up on the ground?
Well, they have different features that you can enter, right?
Right. I mean, you just don't want something there that is so attractive to big kids that the little ones are pounded into the,
Well, it's not anything that disconnects.
Waterfront.
Oh, no, that is,
I know.
all right, I don't, for example, I know that
Water shooting.
there are some that are just little things of water that spray on the ground, that's fun, people try to stand on it and block it when they come up.
Yeah.
There are hoops that mist water down that you go through, but some have features that are not maybe appropriate for a little kid, they might have a big bucket of water that fills and dumps at random. And kids stand under it trying to, but it might be too much, it might be too much water for a 2-year-old.
I know they have wheelchair accessible features too, like you can roll up to.
Sure.
I want every single one of them to be wheelchair accessible.
Mhm.
And dogs are supposed to.
Are we talking about a full blown, I mean, the water dump, yeah, I thought when we voted on.
Like magic word.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Okay. I thought
okay,
we-
so Scott, where have we left this? You were going to do what?
I'm going to take it under advisement from the board that our target age is elementary school, so I would say up through 10, 11 years of age.
Pre-K through fifth.
Eighth grade now.
Second item under old business, the lots in Denali that are reserved as green space or park, whatever you want to call it, what plat are those in?
They're in plat 3.
Oh, so we have to wait.
No,
Pardon me?
we get those right away.
We're gonna-
We're getting those deeded over. In fact, we're not issuing any permits until we have the deed in our name, so.
Yep.
What did you say?
We're not issuing any permits until the deed is in our name.
I'm looking at the parkland and planning ahead here. So if that parkland is in plat 3, you said?
Yes,
Okay, as we try to get varied with our recreational attractions, maybe we can have a conversation as to what we would like to see in that area for future planning. As we, eliminated the volleyball court or didn't go for a hard court, it might be something that we might want to put in the Denali area for older kids, just to sprinkle around the resources and the attractions is all I'm getting at. So I would just like to have a conversation when it gets closer to, I know there are no permits yet in 2, they have to do 2 before they do 3. But just to have a vision is where we're going with this would be nice.
we can do that anytime. We don't have to wait till they develop a lot in plat 3. If we decided we wanted to build a playground or a pickleball court or basketball or a Turkish bathhouse in those donated lots, we could do that right away. It's centrally
Turkish
located.
bathhouse. I think.
It's centrally located in the overall development, and we certainly would not have to wait for them to start developing lots should we want to pursue recreational development of the 3 that become ours.
I think that would be great for budgeting next year,
Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
next fall.
2024.
No, not 2 years.
2020.
No. You have all of those.
Yeah. In your notes, Denali Heights Plat 2 design review,
Yes,
you've got the Petty's engineer.
correct. Petries, sorry.
So he was thinking of you.
Yeah,
He's
I
fixing all
got
your
that.
spelling
Look, you don't hold me accountable for spelling in a memo. I'm gonna make mistakes, I'm
It's
sorry.
close.
But I mean.
In policy, yes, come on. Yeah,
It was close to my heart.
Yeah.
And has any, and I did ask you this afternoon, has any progress been made on contact?
I wrote as I told you, I wanted to get it out before the meeting. I wrote it, but I didn't email it out.
He's talking about code.
My collection letter.
Sue, what did you ask?
Good, man.
Progress on
Code
what?
violation letter.
Oh, the dollars. Have we collected money from them? Where are we?
He has drafted a letter, but he hasn't sent it.
You forgot to push send. Because I was talking to him on the phone.
And also-
Waiting for the postage
Minutes
meter.
before the meeting started. Any other old business?
Sure.
Any public comment?
I have one. As soon as you're done.
No need for executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn? Trustee Petty, trustee Dunn. Clerk call the roll.
Petty,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Malaco,
Yes.
Block.
Yes.
We adjourn. Thank you.